There's a reason these files were locked away, not deleted, not destroyed, just contained. Because if the world knew what was really out there, what's still out there, nobody would sleep again. These aren't myths. These aren't urban legends. These are the things the SCP Foundation barely keeps locked up, and sometimes not even that. 8 of the scariest monsters ever contained. And trust me, by the end, you'll wish they weren't real. But it's too late now. You hit play. Meet SCP-96, a pale, emaciated humanoid with one rule: don't look at its face. That's it. Doesn't matter if it's live, a photo, or a blurry camera shot from 2006. If you see that mug, congrats, you just made its kill list. The worst part? You don't even have to be close. You could be chilling in Antarctica, sipping hot cocoa, and if you accidentally glanced at a satellite image with its face, you're dead. It doesn't stop. It doesn't sleep. It will sprint across continents, tear through bunkers, and obliterate anything between it and you. And once it reaches you, you won't even have time to scream. It enters full rage mode, tears you to shreds in seconds, and then it just sits there and cries, like full-on emotional breakdown. The Foundation's tried everything, locking it up, blacking out cameras, burying it under mountains, but nothing works forever. One accidental glimpse, and it's game over. So yeah, next time you're scrolling weird image boards at 3 a.m., maybe skip the blurry humanoid photos. SCP-173 is the reason nobody at the Foundation blinks without backup. It looks like a creepy concrete statue, part baby doll, part nightmare fuel. But the second you look away, even for a blink, it moves. And when it moves, it snaps your neck, instantly. Imagine being in a room with this thing and trying to keep your eyes open while someone else runs to get help. Now imagine your buddy blinks before you do. Yep, you're next. It moves fast, like way too fast for a concrete statue. 1 second it's across the room, the next it's breathing down your neck, even though it doesn't breathe, or move, or blink, unless no one's watching. Its containment cell is lit at all times, and at least 3 people have to be present whenever it's being moved. The rule? Don't. Stop. Watching. They say 173 was the first SCP ever officially contained, which makes sense. It's simple, brutal, and still one of the deadliest things in Foundation history. Quick pause. If you're still watching and your spine hasn't crawled out the window yet, hit that like button and subscribe. It seriously helps our small channel grow and lets us keep digging deeper into these cursed files. All right, back to the horrors. SCP-106 looks like what happens when a corpse rots in a haunted basement for 100 years, and then gets up and walks. They call him the Old Man, but don't let the name fool you. This thing is pure nightmare fuel. He doesn't just walk through walls, he melts through them, leaving behind this corrosive black slime that eats through metal, bone, and hope. And if he touches you, you're not dead. Oh no, you're worse than dead. He drags victims into his pocket dimension, a personal hell where time, physics, and mercy no longer apply. The Foundation tried everything to contain him. Steel boxes, acid pits, prayer, but 106 is patient. He waits, disappears for months, then suddenly phases through a wall and snatches someone screaming. He's not hunting for food, he's hunting for fun, and once he's bored of you, he spits your body back out, usually in pieces. So yeah, if you ever see black slime start leaking from your walls, don't bother running, he's already behind you. SCP-682 is the closest thing the Foundation has to a personal nemesis. It's a massive, crocodile-like reptile with one defining trait. It absolutely hates you. Not just you specifically, it hates all life. Plants, animals, bacteria, everything. And it's been trying to destroy every living thing it meets since day one. It's insanely smart, ridiculously strong, and, as the name suggests, basically unkillable. They've tried fire, acid, crushing, even dropping it into the sun. Well, almost. Every time, it heals, adapts, and comes back even angrier. One time, they locked it in a chamber with SCP-173 to see if they'd kill each other. 682 just stared it down and mocked it. Another time, they pumped the room full of acid, and it drank it, just to prove a point. Containment is less about keeping it in and more about stalling until humanity invents something better than giant acid tub. Until then, it's in a reinforced lockdown zone, surrounded by enough firepower to invade a small country. And honestly, it still might not be enough. SCP-049 looks like it just walked out of a Renaissance fair, full Plague Doctor getup, beak mask and all. Except here's the kicker. That mask? Not a mask. It's his actual face. And what's under the robes? Yeah, no one wants to find out. He speaks perfect old-timey English, refers to everyone as patients, and is obsessed with something he calls the pestilence. What is the pestilence? Nobody knows, but if 049 thinks you have it, he'll perform surgery. With his hands, no tools, just touch. And when he's done, you're not dead, not quite. You're a twitchy, reanimated corpse that moans a lot and doesn't seem to enjoy its new undead lifestyle. The Foundation keeps him in a secure room, lets him write in journals, which are horrifying by the way, and occasionally has him chat with researchers. As long as he thinks you're not infected, he's polite, even friendly. But the second he senses the pestilence, game over, surgery begins. SCP-939 doesn't hunt you, it lures you. And it does it by sounding exactly like the last person who screamed for their life. These creatures are red, eyeless, dog-like monsters, but you'll probably hear them before you see them. They mimic human voices, usually begging for help, calling your name, or crying softly just around the corner. And once you step into the dark to investigate, it's over. They're blind, but their hearing is insanely sharp. Whispering, breathing, even your heartbeat, they pick it all up. And when they move, it's fast, silent, and ends with a bite that turns you into lunch meat. The Foundation keeps them sedated in soundproof chambers. But even then, sometimes guards report hearing familiar voices through the walls. Voices that shouldn't be there. The creepiest part? The more people they kill, the more voices they collect. So if you're ever alone and hear someone whisper your name from the shadows, don't answer. Don't even breathe. It's not who you think it is. SCP-610 isn't a monster, it's a disease. A skin condition from hell that turns living things into walking blobs of raw, pulsing flesh. Think The Last of Us, but way worse. It started in rural Russia, and the area is now completely quarantined. Anyone who enters the infection zone either disappears or comes back, unrecognizable. Victims sprout limbs, merge with walls, and constantly grow into grotesque, twitching meat sculptures. And yeah, they're still alive through all of it. Worse, the infection spreads like wildfire, skin contact, air exposure, sometimes even proximity. The Foundation sent drones, armored teams, even flamethrowers. Nothing worked. The creatures inside seem to be building something. Structures, shrines, networks of meat and bone that move. The SCP Foundation's official stance is simple. Do not enter the zone, ever. But of course, something always goes wrong. A drone crashes, a signal gets picked up, and just like that, the flesh that hates gets one step closer to the outside world. If it ever escapes, humanity's finished. SCP-303 doesn't kill you. It doesn't chase you. It just stands there, right behind the door you were about to open. People report a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread, like their soul's trying to yank the emergency brake. They know something awful is on the other side, but they never actually see it fully. Just a glimpse through the crack, a lanky, nude humanoid with no eyes, and a mouth full of rotted, jagged teeth, always grinning. No one has ever seen SCP-303 do anything. It doesn't move unless you're not looking. It doesn't speak. It just appears, behind doors, behind curtains, even behind shower glass, and waits. And somehow, even trained Foundation staff can't bring themselves to open the door once it's there. The real terror? No one knows what it wants. It doesn't try to breach containment. It doesn't communicate. It just shows up when you least expect it and makes you feel like opening that door would be the worst mistake of your life. So far, no one's been brave, or stupid, enough to test that theory. So yeah, these 8 nightmares? They're locked up, mostly, contained behind steel, acid, rituals, and sheer denial. But the Foundation doesn't catch everything, and they definitely don't keep it all under control. Some of these things escape. Some never really got caught in the first place, and some are probably watching you right now from the corner of your screen. So next time you hear a weird voice calling your name, or feel like someone's standing behind a closed door, don't open it. Just don't. And hey, If you enjoyed this descent into madness, like, comment, and subscribe. It might not save you, but it will confuse SCP-303.